Hello everyone, I'm Lamont Gilchrist. www.lgfitnessmessiah.com is my webpage. Lamont Gilchrist, Lifetime Natural Pro Bodybuilder. It's my Facebook and my YouTube. Lamont Gilchrist, all caps, on Instagram. It's my second day back in Dallas. I had a good shoulder and chest workout yesterday, a little bit sore. But got a question, and we're going to talk about blood sugar, supplementation, and the whole little insulin and burning calories off thing. Once again, if you see my other video about calories, that the way that you calculate calories by lighting something on fire and seeing how much energy is dispersed is very inaccurate to the human body. Just for the simple fact that the human body don't have a whole bunch of little flames, and you got to have chemical reactions. You got to have certain amino acids and transporters to take things into the mitochondria or into the muscle to go through the Krebs cycle, and certain chemical reactions have to happen. So, although it's good for energy being put out per calorie per gram. To measure the contents of a food that way, it is not accurate when you're talking about inside your body. And what also makes it not accurate, like carbohydrates, all the different degrees of carbohydrates, for the most part, are 4 calories per gram. Same thing with protein, 4 calories per gram. And then you get fats, which is 9 per gram, so you're talking about more calories. Now, in a caloric in, caloric out diet, then fat will probably be the number one thing that people will try to eliminate because it has more calories per gram. But once again, if you're going to eliminate fat, right underneath fat is alcohol with 7 calories per gram. So alcohol and fat are kind of hand in hand, besides, which I'm going to get to the point that I'm getting to right now. Fat really doesn't cause a hormonal spike inside your body, like an insulin spike or anything else like that. And there's different brands and different chains of fat. There's omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, saturated, polyunsaturated. There's different chains of fat. I do agree, fat intake should be regulated just for heart health, cholesterol, not hardening of arteries, LDHs, blood pressure, all those other different things. I do agree with fat regulation in that sense. And the different types of fats, saturated and unsaturated fats. But I also agree that a lot of fats are, especially for you bodybuilders, or even for women who's trying to hold on to your lean muscle, especially for women too, because you don't produce testosterone in high levels. Fat is a anabolic food. It makes you hold on to lean muscle. It has anabolic properties. So fats can be utilized to be anabolic in females and in guys. And like I said, if you're natural, or if you're just trying to hold on to muscle, you have to explore all the bases. You have to cover all the bases. I was talking to a client of mine, and if you see this video, he'll know who he is. So I know he's not covering all the bases. He has lower back problems, and he has some stiffness in his back and other stuff going on. So when we first started working together, I tell him, you have to foam roll in the morning. You have to stretch when you're not working on your legs or your back or something. You have to stretch it. You don't foam roll at night. If you got to get a massage, get a massage. Take all the things that you need to take as far as your supplement. All these things as preventative, as to make sure that you're setting up the ideal situation for your back to heal, for your lumbar and your thoracic, and this is lumbar mainly. Thoracic and your hamstrings and your glutes and your hips not to be tilted. and all these other things. So I said, after doing this for a while, it will loosen up those muscles, which will probably let the tendons or whatever nerves are being trapped inside there or pressed against something. It'll probably alleviate some of that pain while you're strengthening it. And so now it's just not one system. Like maybe it's not just the muscle that's so tight because the other muscle is so weak, or the cartilage or the tendons or the apperonis down there or the fascia down there in your hips or whatever being so strained upon. So that's preventative. So he comes back to me and he said, "Oh man, my back hurt." And this is a couple months later, and he's telling me about the back thing. And he's saying, "You think I should switch up my workout so I don't have so much back pressure?" Which the main thing is you want to strengthen your back, range of motion, and all these other things. For one, it's for his job. For two, it's better to strengthen something than to start bracing something or running away from something, because it never heals. You know what I'm saying? And sooner or later, you're going to have to use it, or it's going to have some degenerative properties that's happening to it. So I said, yeah, since you exhausted all your remedies, since I know you've been foam rolling, stretching, doing all the things that, I told you to do. You had to go get a massage and go to the doctor, chiropractor, massage chair, all the other things. So yeah, since you've exhausted all the remedies that you did, maybe you need to go see the doctor and get a true diagnosis of what's actually going on. And yeah, we'll probably switch up the workouts and not do that. So then he had a look on his face like, and I said it kind of plainly and sarcastically, because we always are so quick to throw things out or to move on to the next phase of trying to do something or compromising the overall health or the overall goal because of some uncomfort or because of some pain and maybe even some of a little injury, but not to the degree where it shouldn't be able to have the effects turned around or heal if we take the time to set up the right environment so that we can get healthy and so that we can heal. Foods does that, different foods and the things that I'm talking about. So this is right along the lines of what I've been talking about. And so do practicing the preventative property of stretching, foam rolling, massaging. I mean, every day I'm cranking out knots in my muscles where I had a torn pec and, my back, my hamstrings and stuff and all this other stuff. And hey, I just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting any younger. I understand that, so I understand the things that I have to do for my body to get it ready to go, to be able to still go hard with it. And I understand the way that I have to eat and the things that I have to do to prevent those things. So back to the nutrition part for everyone, man, ladies, and all the other people who are interested. Now, if you're doing calorie in, calorie out, and all these other particular things, that's cool. So, fat has 9, alcohol has 7, proteins and carbohydrates have 4. Now, inside the whole range, all the different types of foods that fall inside that range, which is everything on the planet that we utilize as food, there are chemical or different hormones that is released, different things that happen when we take in these different substances. So in my meal plan and in the way that I structure up, I use the anabolic property of some of the things, like even sugar, to promote things that I want to happen in my body. If I know that my body has been catabolic and my blood glycogen and my muscle glucose and my brain glycogen glucose levels, my liver glycogen glucose level is all down, and then I take in a fast-acting carbohydrate, then I can feel my body pump up. I can feel it go into my muscles. I can see the vascularity coming into my veins after a period of time of depleting. And so then it works how I want it to work, because I'm not just constantly bombarding my liver or my kidney or my pancreas with sugar and it's going through my bloodstream and it's causing an adverse effect, and now it has to be metabolized and stored as body fat. So I use it as an energy source. I use it as a fast-acting energy source. I use it as insulin inside my body. I use it as bringing my glucose and my glycogen levels up to par. The same thing when I use slow-acting carbohydrates. I'm even right now working with proteins from isolate to whey protein to calcium whey protein, because they have different time release mechanisms of how the aminoids or how they get into the bloodstream as far as protein consumption or protein action inside the body. I'm using that with some different carbohydrates, different tools at different times of the day and stuff like that, and see what kind of reaction I'm getting as far as like going through glycogen synthesis and protein synthesis. See, as a scientist, I do all these theories, and then I have some of my clients who want to get in shape or who want to try a different thing. Then I have them try these different mechanisms and different timing aspects of what it is that I'm doing at all different sizes, because I have all different sizes. I have some that are in excellent shape. I have some that are in not so good shape. And when I give them these different theories, then they have different things, different time bowel movements, different energy levels, different times they go to sleep. I record these facts, and then I see, what kind of happened in theory as, I pass on this information or work with other clients and see what worked and what didn't work and what could have did, so I kind of cross-reference. And that's the way that science is done. We can't have no big control group, and we just don't sit people in a room and dictate what they can eat at all the times and what kind of environment, the room temperature, all the other things, how much work they could do, stress load, and all the other. Because all these things play a part in nutrition, the way foods are digested, the hormones that are released in your body, and the way that we function. I know I've been talking for a long time, but I want people to really understand the complexity of nutrition if you want to get to a particular place. It's very scientific. It could be as complex as you want it, like me drinking my complex thing every day. I usually give it, because it takes about 14 days like any other drug for things to happen. I usually give a project that I'm working on about a month and a half of what it is that I'm doing to see what kind of reaction I get. Then I usually give it about a 2 to 3 month period with a client, telling them the reaction I think they should get, and if they're not getting for what they're looking for, then I usually tweak it. But yeah, I'm getting great results. I'm still right around 200. I'm more lean. And this is just working with time release proteins and different kinds of proteins. I had upped my carbohydrate intake. I had changed some of the carbohydrates I was taking. I added some thermogenic things like sriracha, some other properties. I switched over from my triglycerides when I was taking the coconut oil, which I was getting great energy. Now I'm doing something else, and I'll go back to that, especially since I'm going to CrossFit. So I'm always constantly manipulating and changing my strategy just to see what happens, just so I can prepare for the competition, or just so I can have my athletes, or have collegiate athletes, sporting athletes, professional athletes ready for when it's time to perform, or whatever it is that they're trying to do, to make sure that their body and everything is timing up. Once again, my name is Lamont Gilchrist. www.lgfitnessmessiah.com is my webpage. Next year, 2016, I will be probably setting up a try to GoFundMe fund for people, or I'm going to be somewhat adopting clients. Depending on their need, they can kind of give me a little essay and tell me what they're going through, and I'll work with them in between Nebraska, Texas, or even on videos and stuff like that, to see if we can make some changes. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm blessed to be able to do this for a living. I've been doing this for over 20 some odd years. A lot of times I don't show me giving back, but I'm always giving back to clients. People can contest to that. I'm always giving free seminars to people. When I see people in the gym, they come up and ask me questions, and I'll sit there and talk as long as it takes, as long as I'm not with a client on my personal time, because my personal time is to my craft and to helping people and getting a better understanding. There's a lot of things that I cannot do anything about in this world, but the things that I'm blessed and anointed to be able to do things about, I definitely am not afraid to step forward and take the lead in doing these things and pushing the issues as far as like health, eating, nutrition, personal training, exercising. I don't need to be gratified or glorified by the masses or by the people or the powers that be to say that, yeah, you should be doing this or that you can't be doing it. I know that I'm blessed and anointed, and I know that when I speak, the anointment from being enlightened comes across. And I know that I'm on the right path, and I am truly helping. And as the science and as the research and as I research the same way that these people research, I look at the same studies they look at, but I bring a different enlightenment into it because I'm a warrior. I bring a warrior aspect. I bring a from the bottom to the top aspect to it. I don't bring a privilege aspect to it. I've worked for everything that I got. People see my thing and it says that, oh, you know, I was a great athlete and everything else like that. And I had a young man ask me, he said, well, do you think you can ever get fast? Or can a person work to get fast, or do you think that you're at the same speed? Well, if you could take drugs to get fast, like Ben Johnson and track people take drugs and they get faster than those steroids, if you time up your body and you push your body, you work your body, and you get your hormone release and everything going, it's the same thing. Testosterone is the same testosterone, whether you produce it or you take it artificially. Yes, you can get faster. I've done it over the years. I went from in high school running 4.5, 4.4 to running a 4.2, jumping as high as I jumped every year. I increased and stuff like that for my goals when I was in college because I pushed myself, and I believed that I was doing that. And I worked every time in every aspect to do those particular things. So yeah, you can. I mean, speed, you ain't gonna go from a 5 flat and then to a 4.1 at 300 pounds because there's some physics things that are impossible. The way that, you know, acceleration starts off, torque and everything else like that. But I've seen some big guys run pretty fast, you know what I'm saying? As I've seen some little guys run pretty slow. So everybody has an opportunity to grow and to get better in every aspect. Once again, my name is Lamont Gilchrist. Have a great day.